The following segment is sponsored by
Mary Veale and the Colonials.
I'm here with Mary Veale and the Colonials here in Old Town Portsmouth, taking a step back into history, step back into time as they bring history to life. First off, can you tell us what Mary Veale and the Colonials are all about?
Well, Patrick, Mary Veale and the Colonials are all about Portsmouth history and making it fun and entertaining. And so if you see some of our characters strolling on the streets of Portsmouth, they might tell you their story, or they might sing you a song, or maybe they help you find something or tell you what's going on about town. And so in a lot of ways, we're like walking, talking welcome centers here in Portsmouth. And then, of course, we have our walking tours as well.
Being from Portsmouth, can you give me a little bit of how you all bring history to life?
Well, of course, we have lovely costumes that catch folks' attention, and we often get compliments on those. As I said, we tell stories, we sing, we tell word origins, tell folks about the culture of our day. But most important, we create these lovely characters who represent real people in Portsmouth history. Some of them are well known because they have a connection with our nation's history. Some are just ordinary folks just going through their day-to-day life, usually in circumstances that might be a little trying. Okay. And so, but we try to approach those more tragic situations with a lot of hope and sometimes even humor, because, you know, as human beings, that's how we get through our struggles, with a little humor, don't we?
Yes. All right. So what are the different types of tours that you all offer?
Well, we have we just finished doing our Heroes in History Walk all throughout February, because it focuses on African American history in Portsmouth, and of course February is Black History Month. But we also do that tour year round. And then we have our Homes in History Walk, which tells a more general history of Portsmouth. And both walks take place with a backdrop of the largest collection of standing period architecture between Charleston, South Carolina, and Alexandria, which is what we have here in Portsmouth. And of course, we do a lot of singing and storytelling in that.
Okay. All right. So how often do you give these tours?
Well, right now we're giving our Homes in History Walk on the weekends, on Saturdays at 2 o'clock through the month of April. And we change it up throughout the season, and you can consult our website for the scheduled walks. And then, of course, we do our walks privately as well. If you just give us a call, if you have some guests in town and you want to take our walk, just give us a call. We'll do it at your convenience. And then we have our History Happened Here walk, which is more geared toward field trips, and we can gear that to whatever age level your students are.
Now, I know you say you just kind of bump into people throughout Portsmouth, but where do you actually meet for these tours?
Well, we meet right here at the Welcome Center for the tours, but we also stroll in Portsmouth on the weekends usually, which is something separate from when we do our walks.
Okay, so what are 3 most important stops along your tour?
Well, that's a difficult question. All of our stops are so interesting, but stops that come to mind are the Bull-Nivison home, which has a connection to our nation's history, because Lafayette and Andrew Jackson were both entertained there. And there's a lovely story about a 10-year-old boy that worked at the shipyard, Ebenezer Thompson. And then there's also Rice Neely, which has a connection to our naval history. And then Emmanuel AME Church, which has a connection to the Underground Railroad, and their story is very uplifting because it started out somewhat tragically and turned out very well in the end.
What are some interesting facts about the characters on the tour? I mean, I'm looking at your garb, I'm looking at your stuff, and I can already see it gets pretty interesting. So what are some interesting?
Well, we have Sally Walker, whose daughter was Mary Peake, who taught the contraband slaves out at Fort Monroe. And we have, of course, Colonel William Crawford, the founder of Portsmouth, for whom I was a housekeeper. And what other? Well, actually, I brought 2 with me here. We have here Andrew Sproul, who was founder of the Gosport Shipyard. Would you like to tell them a little bit about your story, Andrew?
Absolutely. Well, I came from Scotland in 1746. I started out in Norfolk, where I spent about 6 years establishing wealth and reputation as a merchant. And then in 1752, when Colonel Crawford started selling properties, I decided that Portsmouth was a good place to be. And so in 1767, I established the Gosport Marine Yard, which you folks today call Norfolk Naval Shipyard.
And we have James Armistead Lafayette, who was arguably the most important spy during the Revolutionary War. Would you like to tell them a little about yourself?
Thank you so very much. I was born in 1760. My name is James Armistead Lafayette. For purposes of today, I'm at the James Armistead. I will tell you about the Lafayette later. I was born in 1760 in a place called New Kent, Virginia. If you're familiar with that area, it's near the Baltimore area. And my claim to fame is being the hero in the Battle of the Yorktown. I wasn't a hero as far as the fighting part. I was a hero as far as being a double agent and the very first black spy in the American Revolutionary War. And I infiltrated Benedict Arnold's headquarters and his troops by posing as a runaway slave. Once I got in good with them, I fed information to Benedict Arnold and Cornwallis, which was false, while feeding true information to the Marquis de Lafayette and one Joan, George Washington also, thus enabling us to track Cornwallis in Yorktown and us winning the Battle of Yorktown in the last definitive war of the American Revolutionary War. And subsequently, lastly, afterwards, I changed my surname to Lafayette in honor of the Marquis de Lafayette. So now I'm called James Armistead Lafayette.
If I'm interested in more information, I know the people out here, our viewers, are interested. So where can they go for more information?
Well, we have a website at portsmouthlivinghistory.com. You can also find us on Facebook, and you can give us a call.